Hey, it's Patti Scharf, CPA and co-founder of Catching Clouds, the leader in e-commerce accounting. Today I want to continue my talk on inventory. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to show you some cool tricks in Xero that helps make this process a bit easier. But before we get started, if you're not familiar with inventory or cost of goods sold, make sure you watch this earlier video that I created. It'll kind of get you up to speed on what those terms mean. But let's get started. Okay, so from that earlier video, you should know that when you buy product that's going to be resold, that becomes inventory, and it doesn't turn into cost of goods sold until your inventory is sold. But what about that time before you actually have inventory, when you don't have anything in your warehouse or sitting in Amazon? You just have maybe paid out some money. Like, where does that go? Does it go to inventory? Does it go somewhere else? I'm so glad you asked. That goes somewhere else. That goes into something called prepaid inventory. It can also be called just deposits or vendor deposits or something like that. Inventory does not actually belong to you until inventory belongs to you. So that's what this talk is all going to be about. So what is prepaid inventory? Prepaid inventory, it's a current asset on your balance sheet. Current means that it's going to be turned into cash or into some other form within a year. Okay, and asset means you own it. It's something that you have basically title to. So you don't have inventory yet, but you have this money that you've given to somebody else. You're owed something back in exchange for that. Okay, let's say you put down 20% on a $100,000 order. So you've paid somebody $20,000. Let me show you how to do that in Xero. It's super easy. You just go to your checking account and you're going to do a spend money transaction. But when you do that, it's not exactly going to be spend money. Up here, this little drop down box, you're going to go to prepayment. You'll notice that it turns it kind of yellowish, and we're going to pay this to Acme Supplier. Okay, we'll just do that today. And we're going to say that this is for 20%. And we're going to send this to an account called Prepaid Inventory. You may need to set this up in your chart of accounts. Okay. Now, when you hit save, you'll notice that if you look at the checking account, it came out of your bank balance, which is totally accurate because you just paid somebody something. Usually this is with a wire or something like that. Bonus tip, you may want to check out Veeam for doing an international wire payment. They don't currently have any fees or anything for doing that, so it's pretty slick. Okay, so you have this prepayment. If you were to go into purchases, which is where all of your bills are stored, you will see it's like got this little yellow post-it note that says PP for prepayment on it, okay? And it shows that it's been paid even though nothing is due. This is exactly what we're looking for. That is very good, okay? So you've paid this. If you look on your balance sheet, you should see an amount for prepaid inventory in the amount of $20,000. It's exactly what you want to see. You have paid money, you've kept track of that money that you've paid, but you are just waiting to receive your inventory, okay? Now, before we go any further, I want to talk about FOB origin versus FOB destination. FOB stands for free on board, or sometimes you'll see it as freight on board. What this is it's the shipping designation. So somebody is shipping product from one place to another place, and they have to tell you at what point in that process the title transfers to you. So if it's FOB shipping point, then, or sometimes FOB origin, those are synonymous, it could be at the supplier's place of business, or maybe it could be at like the port of in San Francisco or something like that. So let's say your supplier's in China, they say FOB San Francisco. Once those products get to San Francisco and starts getting sent all the way to you, the title transfers to you. FOB origin means that you're going to have some inventory in transit. So you own this inventory, but it's not sitting in your warehouse yet. It's not sitting in Amazon. It's somewhere in between, but it belongs to you. So some people like to create an inventory in transit account on their balance sheet for that specific purpose. Sometimes you can just put it straight into your inventory. It doesn't really matter. Do whatever makes the most sense to you. Now, that's FOB origin. FOB destination is the title doesn't transfer until it reaches its final destination, which is you. So when it shows up at your warehouse and you sign off as having received it, you say, yep, everything looks like it's in good shape. I will now take over title. That belongs to you, and that becomes your inventory. You don't need that inventory in transit account because, boom, straight into your inventory. Cool? So my first example is going to be FOB origin. So let's say this is shipped to, let's say FOB San Francisco, okay? The supplier actually shipped it out August 1st. It arrived in San Francisco on August 15th. It arrived at your warehouse September 1st. Okay, this is for 40% of your thing. So you create a bill, an invoice in Xero for 40% of the order. It's going to be dated August 15th. It's not the date that it left their warehouse. It's when it hit San Francisco, which is what you guys agreed upon that indicated when the title would change hands. Okay, so 40% hit the FOB origin on August 15th. You record 40% in your bill. This is how much you owe because they've only fulfilled 40% of the order. And so you owe $40,000 of that total $100,000 order, okay? We're going to approve it. And then it will pop up with allocate outstanding credit of $20,000. That's that prepayment that we just showed you, that I just showed you how to build. You can allocate that. You can tell it exactly how to allocate it. And then you'll see there's only $20,000 remaining on this invoice because you've already paid $20,000 of the $40,000. Boom. So now if you were to look at your, let's go look at your balance sheet first. If you look at your balance sheet, you'll see you've got $40,000 in transit. You'll also notice that the prepayment completely disappeared. This is because Xero is super cool in how they handle their prepayments. The system knows that if you apply a prepayment against a bill, it knows to pull it out of the prepaid inventory and apply it to your inventory in transit. So that worked super slick, just the way I wanted it to. Okay, now let's say they send the other 60% of the order. They shipped it on August 20th and it hit the FOB San Francisco September 1st. You received it in your warehouse, say September 15th. Okay, the date you're going to record it is going to be September 1st because that's when it hit San Francisco. Okay, again, we go in here. It's 60% of the total order. It's going to inventory in transit because it hasn't made it to Delaware yet. And if you go to your balance sheet, you will now see the full $100,000 in inventory. Okay. Oh, so this is inventory in transit. So you're going to want to at some point transfer that over to just plain old inventory. This is why some people like it just to go to inventory. Other people, they want to track what's in transit as opposed to what's on hand. Once it actually hits your warehouse, you can do a quick journal entry to move that out of inventory in transit to inventory, and you're done. If you have it go straight to inventory, then it's already there. Okay. All right, now let me show you FOB destination. FOB destination is exactly the same. The only thing that changes are the dates. So on that first 40,000, that was, let's see, it left the supplier's warehouse on August 1st. It hit San Francisco on August 15th, and then it arrived with you in Delaware on September 1st. You don't care when it hit San Francisco because the title doesn't transfer until it reaches your warehouse on September 1st because you're FOB Destination. Okay, so the invoice date is going to be September 1st. That means this inventory is going to hit on September 1st and instead of August 15th like FOB Origin. Again, exact same thing. You can allocate the credit. Now you have a clear indication of how much is still due. I'm going to go back to bills. The other one, the 60%, left on August 20th. We don't care when it hit San Francisco. It arrived at the destination on September 15th. So we date it September 15th. And this is, again, going to be inventory. Now, well, let's look at the balance sheet really quickly. If you go to the balance sheet, you will see, if you change this to September, well, in August, you'll see that there's the prepaid inventory amount, and then you'll see in September that it's all inventory now. Okay, if you look at your bills under purchases, you should see those two bills totaling the amount that you still owe of $80,000. You'll see this one here has like this little icon. It shows that there is a prepayment applied to it. Okay, so everything is nice and clean and pretty in here. I would recommend with your bills to include the purchase order number as your reference number. Let me see if I can get back to that for you. So like instead of reference FOB destination, I would put your purchase order number there so that when you're looking at this list, you know exactly how to track which shipments went where and where they came from and stuff like that. Okay. And one last comment is I set up this new inventory untracked account. This is a current asset. It's not showing as inventory in the system. That's because Xero wants unit numbers and all this kind of stuff for your inventory. The reason we don't do that is because our clients use a separate cloud inventory application. I have another video about that here that you should probably check out. I think that's probably the #1 thing that you can do for your business to make sure operations are running smoothly. I hope you found this video helpful. If you are just getting started in e-commerce and starting to set up your own store and things, please check down below. I've got a link to an e-commerce startup guide that I think would be really helpful for you. Otherwise, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll catch you later.